KWL Strategy by Shayla Wills. In this presentation, we will be learning about how to use a KWL chart and how to extend our students' learning when they use their prior knowledge and ask questions to learn more about a subject. What is the KWL strategy? The KWL strategy is a classic instructional practice that prompts all the thinking embedded in comprehension. This instructional model addresses before, during, and after reading strategies that result in improved reading retention. This strategy prompts students to recall information they already know before an assignment. This is what we call our prior knowledge. Students think of questions which they would like to be answered. It encourages students to collaborate and ask creative questions. Students use the text to confirm and enhance their knowledge, and to answer their questions, they learn to tear apart the text in order to find out new information. What is a KWL chart? A KWL chart is a strategy that educators use that allows students to use their prior knowledge and discuss what they know, what they want to find out, and what they learned. The know is when we ask students what they already know about a certain subject. For an example, what do you already know about spiders? The what is when we encourage students to ask questions that they want to know. What do you want to know about spiders? I want to know which spiders are poisonous. The learned is filled out after we have read the text or completed the lesson. What have you learned about spiders? Let's see if we can answer some of those questions that you've been curious about. The KWL strategy uses a series of columns to organize and record thoughts. This is a life lesson for all students. The chart can be used as a study guide as they progress through their work. This is a good visual aid for students so they can refer back to their work. What does a KWL chart look like? On this slide, I have given 3 charts. The first one is the original chart, the KWL chart. What do I know, which is the K? What do I want to know, which is the W? And what have I learned, which is the L? This is great for lower elementary. The next 2 can be used for the upper elementary, KWHL and KWHLAQ. You can see that there are 3 differences from the original. They've added the H, the A, and the Q. These are extensions. The H, which is the how do I find out more? Maybe we can go to the web, or we can look in books, or we could go to a museum or watch a video. The A, which is the action, what action will I take, or how am I going to apply this into other reading material, or maybe into my writing. And Q, what are some other questions that I have? What are some new questions? When can it be used? Some of us wonder what areas in our classroom can a KWL chart be used? And honestly, it can be used in a variety of different subjects. When you are introducing new topics, like the life cycle of a butterfly, or spiders, or maybe even dinosaurs. It can be used in reading when you're enhancing the comprehension. It helps the students stay engaged, and they can dig deep into the text for more information. It can be used in math when you're trying to figure out how to solve a story problem. And here in a little bit, I'm going to give you an example of a slide that shows us how a KWL chart works whenever we're trying to figure out a math story problem. The possibilities are endless, and they can be used for any grade level. Although the KWL strategy is very important, a variety of strategies in your classroom is also important for students to have in a bag so that they can pull them out and implement them in different areas. The KWL chart promotes student engagement. It keeps them engaged and focused in the subject area. It also promotes classroom discussion. Students can openly discuss with one another their thoughts and questions. It enhances collaboration. They can bounce ideas off of one another. This is great when you have them in small groups or whole groups. It organizes their thoughts, and they can draw reference from past experiences. As a teacher, this is my favorite because whenever I'm introducing a topic, I love to hear their stories that they share about their past experiences. It challenges students to seek knowledge. They're so excited about the topics that we're learning about in class, they want to know more. The next two slides that I will show you are two examples. One of them is science and one of them is that math example that I was talking about. So let's talk about the science one. Our topic is sharks. What do we already know about sharks? Sharks eat meat. Whale shark is the biggest. Sharks eat animals, and sharks are fish. What do we want to know about sharks? Which sharks eat people? What sharks are the fastest? What sharks are the smallest? And what animals eat sharks? Okay, so how are we going to find this out? Maybe we can search the web or go to the school library. We could go to a museum or maybe even watch a shark video. After the lesson is completed, then comes the answering those questions part into that learning column. Great whites are dangerous. Mako and blues are fastest. Pygmy shark is 6 inches long, and the killer whales eat sharks. The math example for problem solving is something that all of us know is very important. When we're trying to figure out how to solve a problem, we have to pick apart the information necessary to solve that problem. So the example I've given you is there are 13 stickers on the page. Brittany put some more stickers on the page. There are now 22 stickers on the page. How many stickers did Brittany put on the page? Let's use that KWL chart. What do we already know about this story problem? Well, there are 13 stickers on the page. We also know that Brittany put on some stickers, but we don't know how many. There are also 22 stickers. Okay, so what's the question that we need to find out? How many stickers did Brittany put on? Well, let's figure out how we can learn that. Now there are 22 stickers, and we started with 13 stickers. So how are we going to solve it? Well, we're going to have to either add or subtract, maybe multiply or divide. Well, we need to subtract. We need to subtract those 22 stickers from the 13 stickers to figure out how many stickers Brittany put on. Well, 22 minus 13 equals 9. How can we extend the learning through a KWL? Once the chart has been completed and the students have gained the subject matter and they have a full understanding, we as teachers need to provide activities so that the students can learn even more. Some examples that I've learned that I've had in my own classroom are dioramas or reports, art projects, maybe poems, journal writing, or concept maps. Below you see a diorama of the polar bear habitat. They've created the habitat by having water, food, shelter. Next to it you see a concept map about Alaskan bears. There are 3 types of Alaskan bears: black bears, brown bears, and polar bears. Black bears don't climb trees, but eat berries. The brown bears also eat berries, so brown bears and black bears have something in common. They have a shoulder hump and they eat ground squirrels. Polar bears are white and they eat seals. This is a great way to implement a writing activity. You've got a title, which is Alaskan bears, and 3 paragraphs: your black bear paragraph, brown bear paragraph, and polar bear paragraph. What are the advantages and disadvantages of the KWL chart? Some advantages are when adding columns to the KWL chart, it allows students to create questions. So back to my slide of the how, the action, and the question of that chart. When you add those, they just implement more creative questions. When students discuss and listen to other responses, their written responses are higher quality. So as students discuss and listen from one another, it also shows up in their writing, I promise. Children strengthen their knowledge, expand cognitive learning, and show interest and provide the personal experiences. Some disadvantages, those misconceptions about topics. Below you see The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. I read this to my students when we were learning about the life cycles of a butterfly. And in his book, he refers to the caterpillar making a home called the cocoon. This is a great example of a misconception. Students have read his book and have heard the word cocoon and just assume that caterpillars make a cocoon as a home, when actually we know that caterpillars make something called a chrysalis. Moths actually make cocoons. So those misconceptions can be misleading. So we as teachers need to make sure that we are providing our students with the correct information. Teachers feel that if students don't have prior knowledge, a KWL chart will not be a successful tool. As they learn from one another, they tend to get more knowledge. And so if a child comes in without any knowledge of a subject, it's okay, because when students learn from one another, they just become more creative, and you see it in other areas. Using a KWL to learn and to confirm. Well, what does this mean for our Common Core state standards? With strategies like KWL, students will be able to learn how to properly use it on their own. Students need to be able to identify what they learn and support it with the text. Students also need to look beyond the superficial and explore with questions. When we as teachers model, this will lead them to be more responsible, and then they're able to do it on their own. This allows students to have deeper thought when organizing their reading and writing. They become more creative, and their creativity shines through. The KWL strategy helps their students with prior knowledge about the text or a different subject. They can learn new information, and then they can confirm that information. I hope that you have enjoyed this presentation as much as I have, and I hope that you're able to take away a few new ideas that you can implement into your own classroom. Below is my last slide, which is the works cited slide, and you can look, I've used Doug Buell, the Classroom Strategies for Interactive Learning. I've used D. Conrad Curry, which is the Common Core State Standards, and KWL, Reading to Learn and Confirm, Partner in Education. I've used KWHL chart from enchantedlearning.com, and the Mandeville Thomas F., the KWLA, Linking the Affective and Cognitive Domain.